Well, welcome to our first video for Heavy Metal Catering. I'm Kerry, my wife Jodie's behind the camera. We had a bit of a request to show people what we do. So today's Tuesday, which means it's family night for us, and in the cooler months, as many as we can get in the year in central Queensland here, we do the camp oven cooking for the night for all the family that come over. And tonight we're going to do a baked corned meat and a nice potato and a few veggies to go with it. So first of all, we're here to cut up the wood. Now, you can't be usually fussy about what wood you get. Some people complain about the wood and it was no good. Well, bad wood just means you go through more of it, and the only thing that it really matters is getting heat on your lid. If you haven't got good coals, that can be a bit of an issue, but apart from that, you just use more wood and maybe a bit more flame rather than coals at times. So we're very fortunate where we are here in central Queensland. We have a local supplier of gidgee. For us, gidgee is definitely the best wood to use in camp oven cooking for coals, for using less of it and burning the best heat. It's definitely gidgee. So we actually do have a gidgee supply. We have a local supplier that will supply us with gidgee, and then everything else is just trees we've cut down in the paddock. We have gidgee, we have brigalow, we've got gum. I've actually got some gummy I'm using at the moment, actually burning really well. So yeah, we'll cut up some wood to get the fire started, so we can get some coals started to start baking our corned meat for this afternoon. So I put on some gloves just to help eliminate them splinters, for them sure to get one. Yeah, this is gidgee, and again, you can get all different types of gidgee wood. The western gidgee is the best. This isn't quite as good as what you'll get up north and out west, but it's damn well close to it. Is gidgee. Split's quite easy. Get it started. We definitely want those smaller bits, and you don't waste as much. You're putting a big log in there. We've got some white ants and some of this stuff here. Now that should be enough to get things started over there at the fire. Now, we don't have anything fancy here. It's just an old drum cut in half, which is well used. It really needs to be replaced. It's hardly got a bottom left in it. I just stack them up like that, and there's no problem in using a fire starter around here. There's no competition in getting the fire started with one match here, which was often the case when I was growing up on the farm. You had to get the billy fire started lunchtime in the mustering camp with just the one match, otherwise you got laughed at. I say technology's here, let's use it, which is a fire starter. At competitions we don't use a fire starter. I do like to start the traditional way with a match, but I'm all for technology when it's not competition. We don't have to do things the traditional way. I see the big old 20-inch oven there. That's a 20-inch Etna, which I'm currently seasoning up. Once we get a bit of fire going here, I'll season a few of my big ovens that don't fit in the barbecue, where I season most of them. The big ones are about 18-inch and up. I just do it directly over the fire, season it the old way. Put a rack on top of this and sit them up there and oil them and keep heating them. So now that's got going, we'll just keep loading that up and start coals. I like gidgee, you don't need as long, but most wood I probably have the fire going for 2 hours before I start using coals from it. And yeah, we'll go on to the next stage of showing you the baked corned meat and how we prep that to yeah, it's not doing it the traditional way. Once you've had corned meat baked, I don't think you'll ever have it the old way again. It is next level. It is my currently favourite, has been for about 12 months, baked corned meat. And now, being our first video, things I've got to say is don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel and share it as much as you can, because we intend on loading more videos, doing live videos. So if you subscribe, you'll know straight away when our video is going live, if you're a subscribed member. And then down the track, we also want to look at holding classes from start to finish on dishes. So if you've subscribed and there, you'll know straight away when that's happening, be able to get yourself booked in. Thanks for now. We'll see you a bit later when we get the food ready. Righto, fire's fairly roaring now. Put a bit more wood in it now that it's going. And we'll just let that go away for a couple of hours and we'll have some nice coals. We'll just keep adding to it. I don't want to waste wood. But then we'll get our feed on. We've got 2 pieces of corn silverside meat here. They're 2.5 to 3 kilos in size. Like a traditional oven, it's about an hour per kilo. So we'd like these to bake for about 3 hours. So we'll put them on now at 3 o'clock and they'll be ready at 6 o'clock to slice up. These have come from our local butcher. We're lucky enough in Emerald here to have 2 local butchers. Fair Dinkum Meats is where we get the majority of our meat from. We definitely like to support the local butcher and buy all Australian meat. So we have a fair few that turn up the family night, and cold meat is always good if there's leftovers. So we're using a 15-inch Billmans oven, and with my corn meat we put a trivet in. A slot me in trivet, lasts you a lifetime. And this one came with our Billmans oven, but you can buy them separately. We've also got lighter trivets, little ones that we use to lift our scones and things out of that we've bought from BCF. We've also seen pizza trays converted to trivets and do a really good job, and they don't have any tendency to rust, pizza ones. 2 very nice pieces of corn silverside, and like I said, we support our local butcher, that is for sure. Our son is a fully qualified butcher, so it's a profession and a trade that we definitely like to support. Now we'll just pat those down with a bit of paper towel before we put our sugar on them. They can be, you can have syrup on the top, sugar, brown sugar, jam. You can get injecting needles and put things like marmalade in it. I've got one good friend who does that and they come up very, very nice. Nice sweetness to it. Today we're just going to use brown sugar on the top. Now it does become a little bit charred, but that chard just does not taste charred. It is an absolute beautiful texture when it's sliced up, just to have that little bit of brown sugar chard on the top. Comes up a treat. If you're using syrup, you've got to be very careful you don't let your water boil out and go dry, because it will stick like glue to the bottom and become very hard to move off the bottom of your oven if you go down the syrup one, but same effect. We use jam a lot of the time as well. Corn meat is my wife's favourite. Like I said, this isn't the traditional way of boiling a corn meat. This is baking it. A little bit of steaming involved as well. Now I'll put water in about halfway up to this trivet, because these are tall trivets. Slot me in. So in this 15-inch oven, we will be using a litre there, goes in. That helps keep it moist and a good steam, and the rest is baking technique pretty much. Fair bit of heat from the top down. We'll bake that for 3 hours and it'll be perfect. We'll head outside now and put it on. fairly level. Do have that trivet. We don't want one side bone dry. That's fairly level looking to me. If you have a look at the coals in here, you have a good bed of coals to get things started. Got a few more bits of wood there, it'll keep going. We will start off with a good shovel underneath. And on the top. We are starting out with a cold oven, don't forget. So it'll absorb a fair bit of this heat, and then the heat will start working. And that's going to be on for 3 hours. We'll now go and get ourselves sorted for our potato and our fried up cabbage that we're going to have with it. Okay, so to go with our baked corn meat, we're going to do a mashed potato dish. Now to get this right, I better get the naming right. Recipe came from Papa's Rampage Arizona style mash, which was taken from Dave McDowell's Cow Camp Cookery book, which Bruce and Pat Batterham have put up and been using, and we've used it a lot of times since. We've changed a few things on it and dropped out a few things. We don't have diced tomatoes in ours, it's just one texture we don't like with our potato. And the jalapenos have dropped off for us. I personally like them, but to keep it friendly for everybody, they're probably the main two things out of this dish. So these ingredients are for a 14-inch oven. I'm using the only Canon oven I have, which is a 14-inch one today. In here I've already diced up 3.5 kilos of potatoes, which we'll take outside very shortly and boil them up to a mashed potato softness. We have 1 full capsicum diced up, 200 grams of cream cheese, half an onion diced up, 250 grams of bacon. We will use half of that sour cream, which is 200 grams, paprika, salt and pepper, 1 cup of culinary cream. I've got 6 cloves garlic there and some shallots and cheese on the top. Yep, that's it for this one. So we'll first of all go out and boil the potatoes. When they're done, we'll bring them in, then we add everything together and then put it back in the pan, the oven, and bake that like a potato bake, on a light bake, crisp up once it's cooked. So we'll head outside now. Alright, we'll sit next to our corn meat. Need a fair bit of good heat to get this one boiling. As you can see, I've got an oven there, I'm seasoning at the same time. Plenty of heat under. You might notice we don't, very, very rare, unless we're running short on time, don't hang our pots. Much easier to control your heat, less likely to burn things by cooking directly on coals. So we'll get that boiling. It shouldn't take too long. We'll get those potatoes nice and soft, like a mashed potato style, and then we'll mix all the other ingredients, put it back in. Soft enough to me, so we will drain those off, but I'll also check the baked corn meat. It's probably going to need a bit more liquid now, so I'll take some hot liquid out of this potatoes, because you definitely don't put cold liquid into a warm oven. That's one way to crack your oven, and it's one way to kill the heat that you've got in the oven. So that has got a perfect top on it, how we love. Yeah, that may look charred, When you slice that up, it is a magnificent flavour. Sits on there lovely. Now next stage is we'll fry off our onion and bacon before we add it all back into potato. Mix it all up nicely, mash it all up, and put it back in this pan then to cook it a bit like a potato bake, but it's a soft mashed potato instead. It's pretty well an hour to go. That's just keeping it warm now. I'm pretty happy with how that cooked. I put a thermometer into that to check it. It would be perfect on right temperature, that meat, which we don't use a lot of thermometers. We all go by feel, which is the back of the hand. I can keep that there for about 7 seconds. I've got to pull it away, it's too hot. Same on the lid, it's all by just feel of the hand. But you can definitely, I'll stick a probe in that. We do a lot of commercial catering, so the food's got to be right. You've got other people eating it, relying on it. So we do use temperatures to make sure the meat's right. You're allowed to, it's only competitions that you're not allowed to. Other than that, we'll fry this off now, and then we'll come back when we mix it all together and put it back in there. The onion and the bacon, we're just browning off before we add it to the mashed potatoes. Flatten that around like a batter, like you would on a pudding. All those nice colourful specks through there. Capsicum is probably the one thing we personally really like in this dish, is to cut up capsicum. Yeah, so on top of that, it's just cheese. And finish off with the paprika. Generous amounts of that on the top. Now, this is a 14-inch oven that recipe was for, don't forget. Like I said, originally we got hold of this recipe from Bruce and Pat Batterham from up in Townsville. I like to give recognition where recipes are from other people. It's not against the law to use them, but I think you should recognise it if you're using someone else's recipe. No use reinventing the wheel. If someone finds something that's good, jump on board. And this is one that we definitely like to use. Fried cabbage and onion. I've got a 9-inch Billmans on here, which I've had heating up. So we'll just add the butter.
What's going on over here?
That's the family that are arriving. We said we're doing this for family night. Well, they've started turning up. Like some of the crew over there. As you can see, this is a 9-inch Billmans pan we're using, and it's very nice and warm. We've added that butter. In goes one onion, and then we have half a cabbage cut up, which we'll slowly add now without trying to fill any of it. Yeah, it looks like a lot there at the moment. That'll boil down to about a quarter of that size. So we just keep stirring that now and fry it off, browned off nicely. Okay, that's the baked core meat finished. That's the nice char. from the brown sugar. That's 2. We've already cut up 1. That's our fried off onion and cabbage. This is the potato, creamy potato, and the white sauce, which we ran out of time daylight to show you, but we can't give you all the secrets. Okay, we'll plate one up and show you what it looks like on the end plate.
Wow. Oh, look at that.
And that's our baked corn meat meal for family night tonight. Hope you enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe and like our Facebook page.